what you're going to do is you're going to do your intro and tell us what financial tool do you recommend to start a business? Got it? All right, so we'll start right here. Introduce yourself and your turn.
Hi everybody, my name is Pam Vavra, and I am an attorney, but I'm here mainly to talk about a number of nonprofits that I work with. And I think the one financial tool, or tool that I would recommend is your resources. I think it's just so important to seek out as many resources that are available as you possibly can. Because as so many speakers earlier today have talked about, we can't do this on our own. We've got to rely on others. And by the same token, others need to be able to rely on us. So I think that the key to having a successful business is not to make the same mistakes that others have made. And the only way you can avoid that is by developing a network, working closely with others, finding your mentors, and finding people who can tell you how to avoid those mistakes. And the two organizations that I work with are SCORE, which used to stand for Society Corps of Retired Executives, and it used to be just a bunch of old white men that wanted to help other people start their businesses. It's now a lot less old and a lot less men, but it's been around for like 65 years, and we provide free consulting to small businesses and startups. And one of the things that is happening next month, April 22nd, we're going to be doing a conference very much like this. And the idea is, again, to just help one another through networking and helping one another avoid mistakes. So I'll talk more about my other activity later, but again, the tool that I highly recommend we all hone is our ability to seek out and take advantage of the resources that are available to us.
Good afternoon, ladies. My name is Tara Lynn Gray. I am my single greatest fan. I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce, where we engage, educate, and empower the Black business community. And we do that through three distinct programs. We provide technical assistance and capacity building services. We have a Women's Economic Impact Center, which we teach an entrepreneur's mindset curriculum. We run a contractors cohort program that is focused on construction contractors and supplier development programs, and then we have a sustainability program where we run a zero emissions vehicle network. So we are both technical capacity building for businesses, and we are in business. In my tenure there, I have changed really kind of the dynamic of chambers of commerce. My tool is specifically for finance is really a feasibility plan for your organization. Most folks will ask you to develop a business plan. I prefer the feasibility plan because its focus is quite a bit more operational, and the financial components in that plan need to be very solid. So that would be the greatest tool that I would recommend.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tanya Patterson. I am the broker and owner for Patterson Investments. I'm a real estate broker. Our focus is on commercial real estate sales, residential sales, and property management. We also offer leasing services. Let's see, I have a Bachelor of Science degree in telecommunications. I'm an MBA student at Pepperdine University. And what else can I tell you? Leadership of Gilroy graduate. Also past president for BNI, Business Network International, which is where I met Teresa. She's amazing. And it's the largest international networking group in the world. And I was able to help that organization get to $4.2 million in referrals last year. So I love economic development. Moving on to the question, financial tools. Often,
You're also the economic development officer.
most importantly, I am the economic development board member for the NAACP. Yes, most importantly. And so those two roles cross together as Patterson Investments and NAACP because I offer the same services. I help those that come to the NAACP as well as my business in the economic side, whether they need consulting services, whether they need money, whatever that looks like. So I have tons of private money lenders that can help you with your business. The other thing that's important that we talk about at the NAACP is obtaining loans. You can get a small business loan through the Small Business Administration. That's super important. A lot of us don't know about that. You can go to your local credit union or your local bank. The other important components that we tend not to know about in our community is the minority business enterprise. You can become certified as an MBE business. You can become certified as a women business enterprise. If you, as a woman, own 51% of that business, or a minority for the MBE, 51% of that business, then you're able to become certified. What that allows, and also there's 8A certification, which you can get through the SBA, Small Business Administration as well. What's huge about that is you can get up to $4 million for a contract from the government in goods and services, and up to $6.5 million for manufacturing. And you don't have to compete for those. So if you get these certifications, which SCORE can help you with, so I'm also a part of SCORE, and SCORE is amazing, and you can get the information on how to get these certifications through SCORE, and you can call me as well, because I'm very well connected. The other thing you really need is a very good, well-written business plan. You need a business plan that you can follow and walk through. Accounting services, legal services, insurance services, the law of attraction, which was spoken about this morning. Someone talked about that. You need the law of attraction. It does work. And again, a lot of the people are here. Insurance, the law of attraction, the meditation, the health and wellness, all of these things work into you being able and helping you be able to accumulate the funds to grow your business. All of these things work together. But the main thing is be careful of the company you keep. Surround yourself with the right people. Copy the people that are already doing what you want to do. Learn from them and reach out for mentors. Thank you.
Sister.
Hi, my name is Carlos Reza, and I'm an advisor with the Small Business Development Center. I am honored to be here among so many women, and us girls are just rocking it, aren't we?
The only male panelist all day. Congratulations.
Thank you. But I did want to mention to you that I am a serial entrepreneur, and I was a client of the Small Business Development Center. I was working with a tech startup, and I reached out to a friend of mine and just said, hey, I need some help getting this new technology product onto the golf course. Can you help me out? And little did I know that I immediately had a business development person that is a real professional that if I were paying for his assistance out of my own pocket, it would have kind of bankrupted me, and I got assistance accomplishing the goal that I had. So with the Small Business Development Center, I was asked to be an advisor after having been with that tech company and raising close to $1 million in a crowdfund effort. And they said, hey, we can have some small businesses come and help us out. Or we have some small businesses, can you come and help us out? But regardless of any of that, I will share with you the answer to the question, what is the one thing that as a tool can help you with the business? The most important thing, I think, is passion for the product. Because if you have passion about it and can convince somebody, you will be able to convince somebody to dig into their pocket, pull out their hard-earned money, and share it with you in exchange for the product or service. I remember when I was with that tech company, I was passionate about the product, and I was sitting in a conference. It was actually a convention, and someone walks by and asks me about it, and I shared with this person what the product was about. And he said, hey, I'd like to invest $300,000 on this actual product and become, an actual investor. And it just happens from interaction and passion about the product. So,
Very good.
So can anybody speak to other sources of income or revenue, or I should say revenue, but funding from NIH grants, SBI, the research grants, micro funding, and also crowdfunding? Can any of you guys, because a lot of us don't have wealthy parents or relatives to give us money. And it sounds great and wonderful to get a $6 million contract from the government, but if you are in consulting or something, you may have to carry that payroll for 3-4 months. Where are you going to get the money to do that? So can you take that contract to the bank and say, hey, I got this $6 million contract from the government, can you give me the money to fund it? How does that work? So those funding streams, and then how does it work when you get a big contract from the government like that?
Now, knowing that you used to work for IBM and are running a very successful company right now, I know you know the answer to that question. But you are blessing everybody else in the room. So yeah, it really depends. I think I did not say this as a part of the introduction in my background, but I have 20 years as a tech entrepreneur. And I have done government contracting and worked for some of the very largest corporations in the United States. And that is the most critical question. It just really depends. Most of our businesses, women-owned and minority businesses, there's 20, I specialize in African-American, Black-owned businesses. We've got 26.5 million of those businesses here in the United States. We only have about 900,000 of them that have more than 5 employees. And the mark of whether or not you really qualify for some of those larger and traditional financing opportunities, whether it's a traditional loan from a bank or even some of the CDFIs, you need to still be pretty large and have very consistent revenue in order to qualify for. The vast majority of our businesses don't, and you certainly as a startup are not going to qualify for traditional lending. So you're going to have to look at a microloan, and even with the microloan, you're going to have very solid documentation. You're going to have your roadmap. If you do a crowdfunding campaign, and I've done several of those, I used to be an advisor for the Solano County SBDC and also Alameda County SBDC. And when crowdfunding first came out, I did the train-the-trainer sessions for Northern California and set that up for SBDC. But even in teaching that, you still have to have a plan. You have to convince a whole bunch of folks to give you $5, $10, $100, $200, whatever it is. You have to have a plan. So the basics for financing anything is getting your plan together. Once you've got your plan, you've pitched it, maybe you've sold something, then you got to finance your ability to be able to deliver. And you can finance your POs if you have a great lending relationship. You can factor. I did that on my first federal contract. I know a lot of people go, ugh, that's like credit card debt. However, you can factor your way to success. For 2.85%, an invoice, if you can't get any other financing and you've got a solid contract, it is an option. Yes, if you're, right, it's all about your product or service mix, and right. Did anybody get anything out of that?
I think her answers are right on point. I did want to share with you that there are opportunities to explore things. I've actually helped some individuals do crowd lending at a very small amount, $10,000. There's a wonderful program called Kiva, K-I-V-A, that can successfully help someone fund a loan at up to $10,000 with zero interest. It's just a wonderful program. It also creates an opportunity to kind of test the market, test the waters a little bit to see if you can get any traction with your product. And all the other answers I think that you give just went right on point.
You know what, I'm gonna share with you really quickly how we funded our second State Farm agency through cash value life insurance. That's all I'm gonna say. If you wanna know more, just ask me. Next question.
I'm gonna do the same thing she did. And by the way, I was the first business in Stockton to be funded by Kiva. My bakery was the very first business in Stockton. Business credit, I'm about to say this she did. Why we don't talk about business credit?
Hey, Dad.
Yeah, business credit. A lot of people don't understand that when you have a business, you can get business credit and you can fund your business. Why is it that, why is it that we don't talk about that in our community enough?
Well, this is true, and that's why I had the long introduction, so my apologies for that, but that's why I spoke about the AA and the SBA, the Small Business Administration, because that talks about small businesses. Actually, that's how I got started. I've been in real estate for 20 years. I've owned my business now for 13 years, and I started with an SBA loan. Small Business Administration, local credit union, I think it was $40,000. And the first year, I think I made $150,000. So I was able to pay it back really fast. But that's a way to get to get money. Also, you have VC funding, depending on what type of business it is. Venture capitalists, that's an option too. I met a young man a few weeks ago, and of course he's been in business for a little while, for 2 or 3 years, but he raised $25 million through VC funding. And so I have connections to VC funding. If you need those, reach out, Tanya Patterson, and I have cards in the back. So.
I would like to add something to that, because I think your question was very, very specific about business credit. And there is a credit score for businesses. It's called the PAYDAC. And so as you are developing your business, you want to get your Dun & Bradstreet number. You want to know what it is. You want all your creditors to report. Most of them do not report. So you have to get the form and you have to request that they report. And your PAYDAC score, when your PAYDAC score goes up, just like your FICO score, you're able to then get larger credit lines with suppliers, and you're able to develop a credit history on your business. And at some point, you can walk into any car dealership and buy a truck for your business, under your business name, register to the business as a business asset, and that business credit is separate from your own credit. Now, of course, if you're the principal in that business, there's a whole lot of legal stuff you need to talk to your lawyer about making sure that your corporate veil isn't pierced and all of those kinds of things. But you definitely want to develop a credit profile on your business and not let your business credit be your personal credit.
So I'd like to pivot just a little bit if I could, because a couple of people have mentioned legal services, and that's another resource that is essential to any small business owner. And one of the reasons why Lisa invited me to be here today is because, I want to give a little more background if I can. I'm on my 3rd career. I'm the poster child for it's never too late to go back to school, and it's never too late to pivot into what you really want to do. I started out in engineering, science and engineering, a software engineer in tech, and then I did a lot of nonprofit work. I eventually decided to become an attorney, and I have the great pleasure to be able to work with the Santa Clara University Law School. And one of the things that I do for them is I help develop new curricula for law students that answer to the needs of the community and answer to the needs of what attorneys, the skills they need to develop for the future. And at Santa Clara Law School, you know, any law school can train attorneys to go out and help rich people become richer. At Santa Clara Law School, we teach attorneys to become part of the fabric of the community and to help build that fabric and support that fabric. And just in the same vein as I think I may be the only white person here, you know, men and white people need to be allies to women of color. And when I was in law school, you know, we formed study teams. And I had a study buddy. I was the oldest person in my law school. She was the youngest, and she was an African-American woman. And we just formed this tremendous partnership. But again, the reason I'm here, I have 3 things that I wanted to share with you. One is SCORE, which I already mentioned. Another is the Santa Clara Law School has an Entrepreneurs Law Clinic. And you can get free work done. If you need a shareholders agreement, I said free, as in free, okay? And if you need a partnership agreement, you need a shareholders agreement, you need an employee handbook, you know, anything like that. Or if you're studying a VC term sheet, and you want somebody to help you with that, that's where you go. As an offshoot of that, what we've just developed is a brand new clinic, which it provides free, again, free as in free, legal counseling services. Now this is just like a 30-minute, yeah, you'll take that one. There's a chair, okay, in the front where I was sitting, there's a chair with several of these on there. Please go help yourself. This is 2 nights a month. We provide these clinics. I have a battery of pro bono attorneys that I've assembled. I have 17 pro bono attorneys, and each of them I pair with 3 law students. And so when you make an appointment or you request an appointment at one of these, they're going to call you and ask you for information about your business, what's your legal question. So the law student can then do the research on that. So when you come into that 30-minute appointment, it's not, hi, how are you, and you take 10 minutes doing that. It's, we've already researched your problem, and these are the things we think you should be doing. So you hit the ground running, and you've got a really productive 30-minute session. So, so there's information about how to sign up for those clinics right over there.
Yes, I put one of these. I need to update my employee handbook. So it's right here. Okay.
I'm in the process of working on the ODOS website. The PM information will be on my website. Free.
Okay. All right. Again, well, okay. Do we have one more question?
It's not a question, but you wanted me to share this information and some additional resources that people can have.
Carter, she is on my board, the ODOS board, and she's also one of my mentors.
Okay, so a couple of things that's been successful for us is being on the Department of General Services for California, the MSA, which is a Mass Service Agreement. So there's levels of that. There's 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, depending on the size of your company. So getting certified for that is another way for people to get access to business and grow their business that way. There's also the CMAS, which is, again, being able to get on a GSA schedule. And if people know, it's really difficult to get GSA certified, but you can do CMAS and float underneath a big organization like IBM or Accenture or whatever. Again, you can get, there's some contracts that are limited to $150,000, and if you're on a really big contract, there's some that are upwards to $5 million. So CMAS is one, DGS is the other. What's some of the other things that we've been doing?
Okay, so how about this, Lisa? Can we put all of that on your website and in the newsletter that I'm sure you're all going to get a copy of because you have filled out your contact information to be here, right? Right, okay. We have one more comment. Oh, one more question.
Oh, one question? Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shelley Cheney Floyd, and I'm the current president of the Live the Dream Network of Silicon Valley. My question, because I heard you mention it, nobody spoken about today. Our organization is a nonprofit, and what we do is that we support short-term education for lifelong careers. So in other words, we want to give people that short-term education so they can become entrepreneurs. Sometimes they need a training certificate or whatever. So my question to you is, what are the resources for us to stop selling chicken dinners and be able to, get into something so it could help us help somebody else?
Very good. So we're going to be talking about grants.
So at SCORE, we have like 350 SCORE offices throughout the country. Silicon Valley SCORE is one of the largest. We do something that very few of the others do. We help nonprofits as well as for-profit businesses. Now, we get funding from the government, directly from the government, to help for-profit businesses, and it's specifically stated that that's what we're supposed to be doing. But we can use a small amount of that and help nonprofits. So we have a terrific seminar on how to do grant writing for nonprofits. We also have a program we call Board Forward. If you are a nonprofit and you want somebody to come in and facilitate a special board meeting for your strategic planning, your SWOT analysis, your vision and mission type work, how are you going to get it to the next level, we can come in and facilitate those meetings for you, because that's another thing that we can't do this by ourselves. We need help coming in and from outside to do some of these things.
And one question. Is that one free too?
Some of our seminars you have to pay for, okay? But the consulting is completely free. And we only charge enough to keep the lights on in the building, so it's very affordable.
It is. It is.
Okay. I have some openings on my board if you're looking for another seat on somebody's board.
All right. So do we have one more question? Okay, this is the last question because we have a phenomenal closing speaker, and I want us all to get to your. Yes.
So I just wanted to ask a question about IPOs, because there are a lot of IPOs getting ready to go public now, especially in Silicon Valley and San Francisco. And if you are a friend of a CEO or an executive, what are the possibilities of getting money, shares, through the friends and families of IPOs? Especially if you have a friend. What's the best approach?
Okay, so we heard a quick answer to that, and that was don't do it. All right. Okay, so with that, I want us, you know what? I'm not going to do the down the line, because guess what? Lisa is going to make sure that you have access to all 4 of these economic powerhouses to help you fund your business. So let's give them a hand right now.